have Audi info, and yeah, we'll just make fun of people. We can talk about the next race, which is at Zevenroot.
Hello.
And what?
No, I'm just gonna say for editing purposes, since we can't see Jay, can you do like his or like lines on like an equalizer, just like going up and down every single time he talks?
That'd be kind of cool.
And all of them just max out when he belches.
And then if you guys ask me to do something, I'll say, I'm sorry, Dave, I cannot do that.
Oh shit.
Call me Hal. Can I change my name to Hal? It even says my fucking name is Jake Kennedy. It doesn't say Santa Claus anymore.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, you
All right.
you did something.
A big thing happened. I'm almost afraid to like click off of this so I can see the fucking race results. Okay. Well, do we want to kick this off?
I already did.
Yeah, we've been recording for like a minute or two now.
No wonder my shit's been so fucked up. All right. Well, and with that, this is the Tire Preference Podcast.
Hey, welcome.
We're
Sorry,
here
that-
with.
That was funny to me.
What? Are you actually recording?
Yeah, it's been recording for a while now.
No.
It was right when you're like, well, we can talk about the race and start making fun of people, you know.
Great.
And there's a good amount of people to make fun of. You know,
It was a good hot mic open.
it's just the people that we just haven't gotten to make fun of them in a while.
No wonder you guys are being so fucking weird. Okay. Well, let's get on with it. First off, I'm drinking Lagunitas, a little something, which you guys can't see, so take my word for.
Oh, I love a little something.
Tyler, what are you tugging on over there?
I'm tugging on a Spindrift sparkling water because I have to go back into work at midnight. So
That sucks.
Bummer.
I am watching wires sitting on the ground to make sure no crackheads steal it and no kids run out there with butter knives and touch it.
Yeah, there you go.
What if they do though?
Then I'm gonna watch some kid fry from the inside of my truck. while I'm
So
watching
really,
Netflix.
there's like no point in you being there.
I mean, there is, but you know.
Did they give you a big safety vest that on the back says visual deterrent?
No, there's just a utility truck.
I think we just lost Jake completely.
We just lost Jake completely.
Alright.
What did he try to click off of?
I know, right? All right. Well, I guess I'll.
All right, and 24 hours later, and after some technical difficulties and many wall punches, we're back. That Tire Preference Podcast is back. It's
How many
all working.
monsters did you drink in that time, Kyle?
I'd rather not
Kyle.
say. Let's just say I had to take out another credit card to get the monsters I needed.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, I also bought a Metal Militia sweatshirt.
Oh, hell yeah.
Metal
To go with your
Militia.
Affliction t-shirt.
Yeah, Ed Hardy jeans.
Or the Rock Revival ones, the rhinestone encrusted ones.
I got a pair of gator or snakeskin cowboy boots too.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
what's up. Or some
Yeah.
Romeos.
No. Snakeskin.
Romeos.
Yeah.
Redneck slippers.
They're redneck slippers.
Yeah. I'm a hardworking man. I can't be bothered to tie my own shoes. So I'm gonna do slip-ons. People say they're so there's this one kid I used to work with and we got on the subject of Crocs. And I was like, no, never, ever will I be like, I wish I had a pair of Crocs. And he's like, no, dude, you don't understand. They are so comfortable. And I said, sure, they might be, but at what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost?
Yeah.
Are we I am not like that is sweatpants to the mall low. That is like that's just You never ever will I wear them to ever for any reason.
Yeah, you know you can get Croc nuts, right? Like you can get little like truck nuts, but for the backs of your Crocs.
Are they shriveled up?
No, they're just plastic. Hold on a second.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I mean, there's worse. They sell worse things out there. So.
My favorite are the it's the nuts for your AR-15. It's the forward grip. If you yeah, nothing is better than taking the phallic symbol that is the AR-15 and putting a set of balls on it and then having you cradle them as you pull the trigger.
There was someone that I know that was like working on an AR-15 project and they were calling it the Wolf or something like that, which is totally like ridiculous. But I have the one thing that I really enjoyed about it was the trigger they put in it was red, so it looked like a little red rocket.
That means he's ready. I like guns, but a lot of people are really fucking stupid with guns.
Yeah.
Yes.
They hear 15 project. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? I'm taking the 6 parts that make this gun together and I'm putting them together. And this one's not. This one's the exact same shape and size and weight as the original product, but it's different, and that makes it custom. Okay, bud.
Custom.
That's like getting the same stock rims for your Honda Civic from a different Honda Civic and calling your Honda Civic custom because the rims are different than what came on the car.
Hey, I got some aftermarket tires. These are custom.
Yeah. Well, let's get it going. This is the Tire Preference Podcast. I am Jake, along with Tyler and Dave, and we are here to give you a race review because we haven't had one of those in fucking forever.
It's been too long, damn it.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a good episode because not only do we have a race review, we got some news to discuss, some things to talk about, and a race prediction at the end. And by prediction, I mean thoughts, opinions, and pessimism.
Yeah,
be a lot of that.
Yep. And I cannot wait to talk about the race predictions because I have things to say. And this time they're not about Ferrari, so that's gonna be fun. Let's just hope I can remember them because I literally just thought of them. Oh, nice. So let's start it out with just can we get like a collective like sigh of relief? We're out of the dark ages of the summer break, the bleakness. We are Matt Damon getting rescued off of Mars now. We are no longer making potatoes with our own shit. Just
Wilson has floated away from us, but there's a transport ship in the distance, so it's okay.
Turns out there was a satellite phone and a GPS in that package you never opened.
Yeah. And like a flare gun.
Yeah. Some antiseptic.
Yes, it's good to have racing back again. Thank God.
It is. So let's get the some of the things out of the way here. One, what are you guys drinking?
No, yeah. I'll start.
Can't see it. Oh.
Is it because of the blurred backgrounds that we're using? All of the beer cans are all blurred out.
Kind of looks like dicks, like big, like this one especially looks like some kind of coffee can dildo.
Yeah.
Hold on.
This is for experienced users only.
Okay. So I got Avery Brewing White Rascal. It's a Belgian style whitetail. It's pretty delicious, actually, from here in Colorado. Pretty rascally. Rocking a 5.6, so I'll still be able to work tomorrow.
Nice. That's about as tall as Fernando Alonso is. So
yeah.
I am just drinking a Spindrift sparkling water because I have to go back into work tonight. So,
yay, burning that midnight oil, watching.
But Wire. I am definitely grabbing a beer on my way home from work tomorrow morning. It's one of the fun things to do because if you work night shift and you're grabbing a beer after work, you look like a fucking degenerate. buying beer at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, you worked late. Your 5 o'clock is other people's fucking, at 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
My 5 o'clock's not your 5 o'clock. We're not the same.
There was a trip we went down to California for our grandmother's funeral, and we were riding with my dad and a stepmom, and so we left our house at like 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It was super early. It takes about 11, 12 hours to get where we were going. And so we get there like late morning, mid-afternoon, and Tyler and I have been sipping whiskey like the whole way down. We didn't get drunk. We were in a nice bus. And we go to the grocery store. It's like a hoity-toity grocery store that was across the street from a Chick-fil-A that had needles in the parking lot. So that's Anaheim, California for you. And we go in there.
We're in Anaheim. It wasn't Anaheim's by Los Angeles. We were in the Bay Area.
I mean, Alameda. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alameda. That's Alameda for you. Anyway, so we go to this like, I don't know, Whole Foods, like small but big, ma pa but corporation grocery store. Everyone's got like special shirts and shit like that. Like, I don't know. And we just get like 2 or 3 bomber bottles each. And this lady's like starting early. And we're like, you don't know what we've been through. We've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't think we slept that. I think I got back to you. I think I came over to your apartment at like 1 in the morning.
You guys sipped whiskey for an 11-hour drive and didn't get fucking shit
like
house?
It was not constant sipping. It was like, just every once in a while, like, just take a little I wasn't sitting there with the flask in my mouth like this.
Yeah, it was every time we pulled over to take a rest stop, we would get the flask of whiskey that was secured in the trunk and would take little pulls off of it.
Yeah, every time we stopped. Mm-hmm. And my dad didn't have any, and he was driving.
And Tyler has a tiny bladder, so we stopped often.
And there's 4 of us, all with small bladders that were not synced. So stopped a lot.
Fun trip.
Yeah, it was a fun trip. And then we went back to our hotel, and watched the incredibly depressing movie that is the documentary about Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love.
Oh God!
Nothing is sadder than watching Kurt Cobain on the edge of overdose with his child falling out of his arms.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I saw that.
Hold on, can you pause it? I need to go get another beer. Like while we're watching that documentary.
But we're not this is not memory lane. This is a Formula One podcast. So let's get on with it, boys.
Yeah.
All
right. So yes, we had Spa, and we had Spa because Spa worked. Spa did a thing. Spa allowed us to do a classically rainy this time a year in Belgium, and it was not. It was sunny and warm, in fact.
It threatened all weekend, but the
race
day prevailed. No rain. It was beautiful.
Yep, I woke up early in a bit of a haze, and I watched the race live, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah, you get to do that now. Isn't that awesome?
It's great. And so right off the bat, we had a very, very good announcement, which if you're a fan of Formula One, I'm sure you've heard already. And if you watched the race, you definitely heard about it. Spa will be on the calendar next year. So fuck yeah.
Whoa.
So I'm very excited, but is that just a 1-year contract for him?
That's all you need. You just need 1 more year, and then another track will drop off for some reason, and Spa gets in there.
So yeah.
They good deal. It's such a good track.
They can't take it off. They can't.
It's one of the tracks that gives you the most passing, as we saw in the race. Which is why, and we'll get to it, so many people had grid penalties because this track passes so well, and this is the safe track to get the motor upgrade.
Yeah, it was a little.
I was wondering why there were so many penalties.
Yeah, so they'll usually so we'll just get to that part. I think it was Charles Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, and
Zhou Guanyu,
and
Lando
Norris. They all started at the bottom.
Ocon did as well.
They all started at the bottom, and that is because,
Bottas got a 20 place penalty, and everybody else got a back of the grid. So actually, Bottas started P13 ahead of Verstappen.
Yeah. So Sonoda's hold on.
See, it was confusing. Nobody that we were watching the qualifying, nobody started on the grid at what they originally qualified at.
No, and
Not one driver.
Well, and Sonoda and I think Gasly, they both started from the pit, and I think that was to give room for Verstappen to go through.
Yeah, that was
But yeah, you had
team orders thrown down to another team.
Mhm.
Yeah, Christian Horner made a little bit of a walk down the pit stall with Helmut Marko.
Right. So at any rate, yeah, you had Schumacher, Zhou, Norris, Ocon, Leclerc, Verstappen, Bottas, Magnussen, all behind Latifi. So if that tells you anything, that should tell you everything.
And that's just where Latifi qualified. He qualified 20th, wasn't it? And then he just got bumped forward because of engine penalties.
Yeah, something like that.
I think so, yeah.
I think Magnussen qualified past him because I'm not even gonna look it up. Anyway,
I forgot. I watched, but I totally forgot what happened in qualifying.
So yeah, we had there was 360,000 people in attendance at that race. So
big weekend.
Big turnout, big weekend, big turnout. As it should be. I mean, people love that track. Everyone loves that track. It's a great track.
Yeah.
And cheers to those that stayed out during the rain and whatnot during some of those practice sessions. And it just looked kind of miserable out there, you know.
Oh, for sure.
And kind of cold, and but they stuck it out.
In qualifying, the track temperature was like 60 degrees or something like that, which is like
something
chilly.
Absolutely, but they made it through. So I think I mentioned this before, but I don't know if I specifically said anything. So they started at the back of the grid because they were taking new engine power units, and that gives you a grid penalty. Bottas got the extra penalty on top of that because he also took a new transmission. So that's why they started in the back. But it's important, even if you have a grid penalty that puts you in 20th place, when other people are getting put in 20th place, to still qualify well, because that will choose the order. So if you're the shittiest driver out of the 4 people that are in 20th place, you will remain in 20th place. And the other 4 people will take 19, 18, 17, 16.
Respectively.
Yeah.
Except for Bottas. Like I said, he got that 20 place penalty, but everybody else got back of the grid. So he just leapfrogged ahead of them.
Which is why that's almost better than back of the grid penalty.
Yeah. The back of the grid's the worst. Yeah. Well, it could be the worst if you're whatever. I don't know. Just
starting on the pit lane seems pretty bad too.
Yeah, it is pretty bad.
You have to wait till everyone zooms by.
Do you start at that light, or do you start from your garage and come out?
I think you start.
I didn't really pay attention to how they started. I just looked at the starting grid go.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know off the top of my head because they never show people starting from the pit because that's boring. But I think you're probably right. I think they probably do start from late.
Yeah, I think they do.
They just gotta wait for the rest of the practice.
Right.
Pretty much. So, which, like, at least if you're in 20th, like, you get the opportunity to, like, start passing people and staying with the grid. But then it's got to be so, like, gut sinking feeling seeing the whole grid go by. And it's like, all right, well, I guess we can go now.
Well, here we go.
All right.
Yeah. So we had the formation lap, and we all lined up. Cars getting ready. Getting ready to race. And then we had lights out, and away we go.
And away we went.
Because the race was going on.
A real clean first lap for a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was expecting at turn 1 some shit to happen.
Same was I. Was
when they all got through clear, I was like, okay, we might have. Here we go. We got.
And no one even hit the gravel trap.
Yeah.
Until,
and I think that was
it was still the first lap, right?
It was still the first lap.
It was like turn 8 or something.
Yeah. I'm gonna look that up real quick because I do want to know.
8 or 10 or
Something like that. I don't have it right in front of me, so we'll just it was a turn after Eau Rouge. There's like the Camel Straight, and then there's that chicane, and that's where it happened. And Alonso was doing really good and had a great racing line, and someone closed the door on him. Someone closed the door pretty hard, and someone got bit. So, someone got the claws from the Spanish lion.
Yeah, and then did not get on the radio right after that and be like, "I was ahead. That was my corner."
Nope, but Alonso did get on the radio.
Yeah, he did.
We don't have the whole quote, but we have what's important, and he said, "This guy only knows how to start in first," which is a joke we've made so many times watching Formula One. But he did apologize immediately. So he was immediately like, "Yeah, that was my fault. I didn't give him enough room. You know, it's good to know what he thinks about me." So
I will give him credit there for owning up to it and taking the hit and saying, "Yeah, my bad. That was my fault."
Yeah, apologize to everyone on the team too. So that was nice.
Yeah, I walked around to everyone in the garage and personally, it was really sad to see him like walking with this fucking helmet on. You know, like down like this, like that gravel road, and they're like, "There's nothing to pick him up," and it's like
they probably tried to pick him up, but he's like, "I'm just gonna walk.
Yeah,
I deserve to walk.
I deserve to walk." Yeah, so that was a fun interaction between Hamilton and Alonso, and that brought us to our first retirement of this race and our first and
driver of the day.
No spoilers, but first driver of the day. That we should the first
say,
person out. Although we
should call it the tire preference driver of the day. Tire preference podcast driver.
Yes, it's the tire preference driver of the day. Yeah. And in case you guys don't know, we got some new listeners. You don't know what we're talking about. We at the Tire Preference Podcast pledged to vote on the first driver to. Well, they probably can't hear me because Dave's frozen. So
they can. Yeah, no, we could. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, the first driver to retire from the race gets your vote for driver of the day. There's no real other reason except we just think it'd be funny to have them have to walk back to an interview saying they got driver of the day instead of being someone, you know, that like when Lewis Hamilton was in 20th position a couple years ago and fought his way all the way back up and won the race, or like Max Verstappen where he was 14th and came around and won the race. No spoilers, but you've already seen it. You know, it'd just be fun if like Lewis Hamilton closed the door on Alonso and they're like, "Yo, you get driver of the day, so come talk about your 4 laps or 4 turns that you did." Yeah,
has to walk by Alonso in the paddock.
I know. Although I almost voted for Alonso, but you know, I did it. I voted for Hamilton as driver of the day. He got 1 vote at least.
That little shunt actually looked a lot worse than it was. I mean, it was bad for Hamilton. Obviously, he had to retire, but. Right. Alonso got to keep trudging on pretty much. No issues. I don't even think he had to pit right away after that, did he?
No, he didn't.
I will appreciate. I saw some footage of him. He did another, like, went around and then he saw Lewis Hamilton's broken down car on the side of the road and did a finger wag outside of the car.
Did he really?
Yep.
Classic
wag of the finger. Well, Alonso was able to get a little help in the end. And we'll get to why he finished higher than what he thought.
And then what I did like is Alonso was saying in a post-race interview, he's like, every time me and Hamilton line up on the grid together, something happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not wrong at all. So, and moving on along.
Half a lap.
Moving on along.
Well, so there was like this one part where Perez and Leclerc were really going after it, and Leclerc really like forced Perez really forced Leclerc off the track. And I saw the replays of that, and I get like racing and you're defending your position, but I think Perez overstepped a little bit because he shoved Leclerc all the way off the track. He had no tires on the track, and that, ladies and gents, is not leaving a car's width.
I must have missed that one. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see the.
It was pretty soon. It was like lap 3 or 4 is when he's really going after. Well, it was probably farther back than that.
They would have had to been a little farther because they had a red flag. No, They had safety
No,
car
they
out for a
cautioned
couple
it.
laps. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened, and I usually, I like Perez a lot, but I'm like, come on, man. I mean,
Yeah, you gotta leave room.
leave some room. You gotta leave room. And then I do like I wrote this down before the Valtteri Bottas incident that we're gonna talk about right after this. But man, was Ferrari fucking talking a lot about everything. And it's almost like they heard our Monday morning quarterback pit strategist like just ask the drivers what they want, because that's all they fucking did.
Yeah, I heard
like,
that.
Do you want to change your tires? Or do you want to keep these ones? And they're like, busy.
It's lap 2. I don't think they've even gotten fully warmed up yet.
So it's just fucking it's frustrating, because it really just kind of seems like there's a huge lack of organization. And it's always great when you discuss when you're gonna pit when everyone can hear it.
Over the radio where everyone's listening.
Let's pit in 4 laps, and everyone's like, it's interesting. Yeah.
I was a little surprised by that, because I was also thinking when they got that first caution that Ferrari had been like, okay, let's undercut everyone and
lap 2. Yep. Put the horns on and send them for the rest of the race.
We got this.
We think the softs can make it. We think the softs can make it.
We're going plan A -20, plan A -20.
Well, and I heard the one time they went to Norris and they said plan G, and Crofty and Brundle were just like, plan G. Like, what the fuck? There's 27 letters in the alphabet. How many plans do you have?
We have every scenario figured out.
Yeah, we have 10 numbers for each letter.
Yeah.
It's 260 plans. Plan J6, plan J6. You suck my battleship. Sorry, that was a terrible joke. Battleship J6. Go fuck yourself. So then we had a bit of a problem with the one of the Canadian drivers.
Of course.
Not the usual one that we usually talk about.
No, but we do when we talk about problems, we usually talk about this one, because he has taken the mantle of master spin from Mazepan and is wearing it proudly upon his head.
Yeah, man, I watched the replay of that. And at first I thought maybe he was kicked off, a little bit. No one touched him. He went off and spun and fucked Valtteri Bottas's birthday up. Here you go, happy birthday. Here's a DNF.
And now you get to start celebrating earlier.
Valtteri Bottas kind of seems like one of those people that would just be like, it's fine, whatever. And then he's looking for a stick, walking over to the TV's garage.
No, I just want to talk to him. I just want to
talk to him.
Did you hear his radio after he went off? He was just like, I had to avoid the car. I'm beached. Sorry, guys. It's like he was so calm, and I would have been motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just kind of like the
full
Finnish
Leclerc over the radio.
That's like the Finnish mentality, because Kimi Räikkönen was a lot the same way.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Kimi? The car's broke.
Yeah.
It's not running currently.
Kimmy, when do you want to pit? Leave me alone. I know what to do.
I know. My favorite happened like 2 years ago, and he had gotten 2 5-second penalties in a row. They're like, 5-second penalty. It's a 5-second penalty. He goes, for what? That's a 5-second penalty. For what? Yeah, you guys forgot to attach my drink again, so I guess I'll be going thirsty throughout the race.
Yeah, I always like the steering wheel one too. Like, hey, give me gloves and steering wheel. Come on,
steering wheel. I need the steering wheel. He's like,
he's like pushing in his car. Yeah, the race was under like a red flag, and they're moving him back into position. And he's just like fucking freaking out about not having a steering wheel.
You can't drive your car without your steering wheel, and you'll get a penalty if your car is driven without gloves. So
yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, so Latifi had a bit of a. Yeah, it's part of the safety uniform. Huh. It would be like like not
it's
having
smart.
your helmet on.
Yeah, I've seen Gasly get hit on the finger by a rock thrown up at him. That even with the gloves,
That was Grosjean.
Was that Grosjean? That fucking
Yeah, broke his finger
man.
almost. Yeah, it's like I can't feel my fingers. It hurts.
It hurts.
But yeah, so we had a Latifi something that is ascending, like whatever. I'm trying to make a joke here about his name and then being a catastrophe, but it's not a thing happening. So he did a thing. He made a Latifi, and Bottas was out. He was our second DNF, I think.
Yep, second DNF of the day.
Yeah, only number 2 of 2. Former teammates, which is kind of fun. Also, the Bottas is number 77 and Hamilton's 44, which is fun because they both had double numbers, and there's random.
You're really stretching now.
Yeah, no,
it's just kind of fun. I don't know.
Really there used to be teammates, and they both have numbers, so that's cool.
Yeah, one's odd and one is even.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. I think one's a prime number too. The other one's not.
The key here, though, is the GOAT got to keep going on. So,
yeah,
Latifi kept trudging on. He just fucking spun himself around. It's like, all right, see you, Bottas. Sorry.
Yep. And so, while all this was happening, Max Verstappen was passing
everyone.
He was passing people so fast that, like, I was getting really pissed off because, like, when he passed Sainz just sat there and let him do it. I'm like, you didn't even move, like, bend, do something. Like,
it's because he got real big, real fast in his mirror.
There's like, it was almost like he was driving an illegal car. I'm not to say he was, but I mean, the dude was just.
Well, there's a lot of people on the internet that were saying, they were saying that, they really need to check their engines and shit.
Yeah.
Just the way he moved up with
behind the scenes, and then they'll come out and say what they did was wrong, but we're not going to tell you what they did. They're just not going to do it again.
Is it driver or is it car though?
Well, I mean, they
give a lot of credit to Verstappen.
Like that. They've shown pace like that before. Like, think back to like China. I think it was in 2018, or it's either 17 or 18. China. And they came in for a late pit stop. They double stacked the Red Bulls, and then they like fucking stomped their way through the field from like somewhere in the top 10 to first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He drove like a man on fire.
No.
He did a hell of a job. I don't know. Hats off to Max Verstappen on that one for just the way he worked his way through the field with such ease was remarkable.
It looked a lot like Hamilton did whenever he did that.
So, I mean, it's possible.
Reminding me a lot of Lewis Hamilton when he had the powerful
car and a good enough driver or in sync, man. They can make some shit happen.
Yeah, I think he carved out 6 positions on the first lap or something like that. Is what
something stupid like that. I think some of those were like he came up on three people battle and then just passed them all at once, which is cool. But at the same time, they weren't really concentrating on him, and a lot of people that he passed. You run into the thing where they just kind of let him go by.
Yeah,
because if you have people like they're not racing him, they know they're not going to be shooting for the stars to get in first place. Let's not waste tires, fuel, and effort defending against Max Verstappen when he's just going to pass you at some point anyway, and he's going to go to the front. You need to concentrate on finishing as best in the top 10 as you can,
especially on a track like Spa where you can pass in so many places. So, I mean, you're given so many opportunities to move your way up on such a large lap. So,
can you imagine being like the guy that's got to give the team pep talk? Like, look, we're not going to win, but
but somewhere between 10 and 5, that's what we're aiming for.
That's what we're aiming for. 20.
I'm sure they go in. We're going to beat this team today. Yeah.
Look, if it's a certain color,
never
blue,
one of the top 3.
No,
it's like.
Well, you see the gap between points between
we talked
top
about
3 in the midfield.
Yeah,
like 300 points.
It's fucking crazy. Verstappen put on a masterclass about how cool it is to have a fast car and be good on a track. That's a lot of fun. one thing I really was bummed out about is they used to have this really cool shot, and it was the camera was set back on the hairpin almost, and it just showed a really low angle of the cars going up on Rouge, and you could see like them defying physics.
Yeah.
And they never showed that in the race. So, and I know they did a lot of remodeling, so maybe they don't have that same camera hole, but I was really looking forward to that, and I didn't see it.
They did have some pretty cool
angle from like the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, bottom of the hill.
They did have some cool camera angles, but
not that one though.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
watch
I've never
qualifying?
seen it. And, yeah.
No, I just read the results.
Did you see the sky bar they had?
Yeah.
No.
That was fucking sweet.
It was a crane.
It was right at turn
and
one.
they would lift up this thing. It was like 12 people. It was right on the hairpin in turn one. So when you were up there, you were, I think they had you so high that you were about level with the top of the hill and on Rouge. So you're about 300 feet up.
Seats. Yeah.
And then you're strapped in like racing seats on this thing. And they had guys in like the harnesses you see in like food warehouses where they're picking the orders and shit, and they're just serving drinks. And I was like, that would be fucking dope. And then I was like, wait a second, that'd be expensive. And if you get up there and you've already been drinking, thinking I'm gonna get my pre-buzz on, that way I can get like a proper buzz up there. Where are you gonna pee? You can't just get up.
Out, I guess.
You hold it.
Yeah, and you can't dine and dash that area. They're like, okay, let's everyone step up cards, let's go. And you're like, oh, I left my wallet down there. And they're like, well,
I didn't even
sorry.
think about like if you're up there and you got to take a piss or something, like you're fucked.
Yeah, and like the other thing is like you're everyone can see you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a spectacle. People looking at
you're
you,
on
they're
display.
flying the helicopter, so you can't just whip it out and flip it over and kind of just go.
Make it rain on everyone downstairs.
Yeah, you can't do that because, and that's the thing about like doing a sneaky piss is there's always more than you think. There's like a difference in peeing in the toilet and going, okay, that took like 10 seconds, and peeing outside and be like, that took 10 fucking seconds. Just constant stream.
And you're constantly worried, like if you're on a trail somewhere, like, okay, someone's gonna walk around like right now.
It's like,
oh man,
sit there with your cock out, pee on the bush, and you're like, okay, this is more than enough time for a fucking bear to show up.
Yeah,
get it in its nostrils and like sneeze on your face, and then suddenly you're blind and the bear's attacking you. It's fucking awful.
Fear that happened to a buddy of mine. He was out camping in the woods one time, and he went to hike off to take a number 2, if you will. And so he found this spot, and he squatted down to take a shit, and then he hears a car go by and stop, and someone goes, "Hey, you know how to get to the next town?" It's like right next to a roadway.
Well, there's someone that I know that shall not be named, but they went camping with some people on like a hunting trip, and it was in the middle of the night, and they had to poop bad, and they didn't know where to go, what to do. It was dark out, they didn't have very much light, right? So they get out of their tent, they sneak off into the woods, and they find a spot that's like 20-30 feet away from camp, and they sit down and they fucking lay some timber, and they get done with their business, they wipe up, and they go back, sneak back in the tent. The next morning, people are getting out, they're getting their coffee, whatever, they're getting their guns, they're going off on the hunt, and like this group of guys go off, and like 2 seconds later they go, "Hey, who's shooting the footpath?"
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, gross.
Speaking of 2 and doing things in number 2s, how about Esteban Ocon passing 2 sets of cars twice?
Right, motherfucker. That. So I really liked Esteban Ocon when he was like, come from a poor family, I'm just want to race Formula One, all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, no, I'm so mad he's gone, but yeah, he's back. And lately I've been like, that dude's kind of a dick. Like,
yeah, he's the dick.
Yeah.
He's a dick on track. He's just kind of a dick. But damn if he's not good.
Yeah.
And he's got to be like on cloud fucking 9 because he is a France racer and he's racing for a France team.
and their world champion driver is leaving, so that kind of makes him the number one driver.
Yeah, it does on a French team. I don't know. I don't remember the
Unless,
last time we had a French driver number one on the French team.
say, unless they pick up a more seasoned driver to put in that seat.
Sure.
I would assume they would put that driver in a number one position.
But depending on who it is, they might make Ocon number one chair anyway.
Yeah. Well, it happened to Vettel, so
Yeah, it's because Vettel walked into a team where he knew he was the number two driver.
He walked into a family.
yeah.
And that's
Fucking
probably
get
why
out of
he's like,
Formula One.
I want to be emancipated. Excuse me, I'm retiring.
I'm retiring from this family. I'm retiring from this family.
Yeah.
So toward the end of the race, Ferrari was scrambling for points like they usually do at the end of a F1 race. And they decided to bring Leclerc in to put some softs on and get the fastest lap. Leclerc tried so hard to get the fastest lap and didn't by 6/100ths of a second. And then he's like, okay, well, at least I got fifth place. Until he got the 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane and then gave Alonso fifth place at the end of the race. If that's not insult to injury, I don't know what is.
So
And if I was Leclerc, I would just, I go right into Matteo Benito's face and give him some of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't his weekend for sure, but they've screwed him over so many times. But he makes a lot of errors that a number one driver for Ferrari shouldn't be making those kind of errors. A lot of spin outs on turns.
A whole lot better.
Yeah, you could say that spin outs are due to poor tire strategy too, keeping them out longer than they want,
So
force them to go faster.
Now they're trying the no tire strategy.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys want strategy?
We have seen him do really good.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I know that once you get into a funk and you lose confidence in your team, then it's like being a first time driver. So
yeah, there's sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, not only is he like you had that feeling of being the first time driver because you're having the slumps, but the slumps has lasted a majority of the season at this point. And I think he's like 80 points adrift or something of Max, if not more.
Over 100.
I think he's now third place in the championship. I think he got passed by Sergio Perez.
he did by like 4 points or something like that.
And that battle for third place, second, third place is close.
Yeah,
it's almost at the point where Ferrari, if they were smart, they'd scrub the rest of the season, focus on next season because they ain't doing it this year. It's going to take too much. It's going to take Red Bull to just totally shit the bed, and then. It's just
the problem with that, Dave, is Ferrari threw away an entire season to do the same thing, and this is what we have. I don't think a half season is going to help.
Yeah. Plus, if they throw it away, they risk not only like, okay, you're gonna try to take second place for like behind Red Bull, but now Mercedes is kind of getting their shit figured out. Lewis Hamilton notwithstanding, so they're also going to be a threat as well.
Yeah, they are, and Mercedes is going to get a lot of time. And with the new engine regs that are coming in 2026, the newer teams are going to have more money to play around with these engines, and we'll get to that at the end of the podcast. So the big new players are going to be looking to spend a lot of fucking money on this shit. And so that's going to keep Red Bull in the top, and that's going to, Ferrari and Mercedes keep their shit together. It's also going to keep the other good German team that's suddenly coming out of nowhere in the top race, because we'll get to it. But that team, that car company, and you probably already know who it is, knows how to win races.
And that might also bring the return of the German GP too.
Which would be fucking dope.
But we should wrap this race up though.
Yeah, we definitely should. So Verstappen takes the dub, and they don't do a victory lap here because that would take for fucking ever. So they have them go around on an escape route on turn 1, and they go back into the pit, which is fun because you watch them drive opposite. Which is also less fun if you're trying to come in on your last lap and get tires, and there's a car driving the opposite direction.
They should just let them have the victory lap. There's
a
people in the
long
other
lap.
side still, but there's people in the grandstands out there that like to see a victory lap. Come on.
Yeah, but it's
Victory
really
lap.
long lap.
It'd take them what, 2.5 minutes? Come on.
Well, here's the thing. If you're running a race and you're planning on having a liter of fuel left in the car, and then you have to drive another 7 kilometers, you're not going to have a liter left.
Oh, that's true.
All right, Mr. Technical.
Just saying.
Yeah,
Whatever. So yeah, Leclerc gets his penalty. Verstappen wins. I'll break down your top 10 here in a second. And I did notice that the driver cooldown room again had the "please do not swear."
I missed that again.
Please
not
don't swear.
But I think it was like signs or something when he saw the wreck with Hamilton. He's just like, "Oh yeah," or something like.
Yeah,
he made
like
some reaction to it.
Some Spaniard reaction. Yeah, to be honest, like I was so aggravated and I was a little hungover and I was tired. And after I saw Verstappen, it's like, multiple seconds ahead of people. I almost just turned the race off. To be honest with you, I was just like, this is fucking dumb.
Well, I mean,
but I didn't. I stuck through it because I'm an analyst now. I can't help it.
We're entering the era of Verstappen playing the role that fucking Hamilton did for the last fucking 7 years.
I'm just ready for Ferrari to come back and do that. And I want them to dominate for a couple of years and then they can stop dominating again. But I want my God Ferrari's evil empire glory that Tyler's feeling right now watching Red Bull.
Yeah. I think for that to happen Ferrari again, it's going to take a total revamp of their people higher up because
they just need to get
the
Ferrari
decision makers are fucking it up.
Well, hey, 2 more cylinders or not, they're still gonna fuck the tires up.
Yeah, that doesn't matter if they're gonna fuck the strategy every time.
Yeah,
right.
They could have 12 cylinders and they still not gonna be able to get around the track on proper rubber. They're gonna pit at the wrong time.
I just miss that V8 noise so much, especially when they're downshifting. Those diffusers kick in. They're blah 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 blah. It sounds like 2 planets running into each other. It's fucking awesome. So to round out your top 10 here in Belgian Grand Prix, we have
sugar and a waffle,
bong and a blitz, pipe and a crepe, smoking a pancake. I think it's smoking a flapjack, but that's beside the point. So finishing in first place is Verstappen, number 1. Again, Perez finishing second, which is 2 1s. Number 2, 11. That's fun. Thanks. Science 55 finishing third. Then he followed by Russell. Alonso getting that 5th place after Leclerc sped in the pit lane, which is so fucking silly. Leclerc got 6th place. Ocon coming in 7th, followed by Vettel, followed by Gasly. And rounding out your top 10 is Alex Albon and a Williams. That's great to see. Yeah. Williams is fighting his way back up 1 car.
Yeah. And he got his first Q3 of the season as well. So
yeah. Alex Albon making moves and doing things with the team that just needed a World Rally Champion team boss to come in and fucking shake things up.
Yeah, and getting down into 18th place, it'll be no surprise to anyone, but it was Nicholas Latifi.
Yep.
It was cool.
The only reason he got 18th is because 2 cars retired.
It was cool to see Williams with the fastest car in the straights pretty much this weekend too.
Yeah, you take your victories where you can. Also, last year Williams did really well at this racetrack. So
I have to imagine I lose Ricardo. Yeah, Ricardo's like at the garage, like watching lap times, going like,
right. Wonder what I could do with that.
Yeah, and then you see Lance Stroll zipping by, and he's like, "Hey."
And then he sees Verstappen go by and he goes,
Verstappen cross the finish line and he's still a lap away and you just hear
God.
I didn't want to be number 2 driver to Max Verstappen. Well, you still would have been number 2 in the championship.
Right. All right. Well, so that is
Oh.
the wrap up of the race. Hope you all enjoyed that race. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Right now, we're going to touch on some news things, and then we're going to move on to our predictions of Max Verstappen's home race, the Dutch home race at Zandvoort.
Zandvoort. I mean,
where
that's what,
they will be
30
having
miles down the road.
Yeah. So you know how Pirelli has like special hats for special areas, and you get special hats for shit. This time they will be doing wooden shoes as the Pirelli thing.
Nice.
For real?
No.
Are you being funny?
Damn
Damn it. That would be hilarious.
What kind of fucking culture decides to make wooden fucking shoes?
It's all windmills and shit too.
I know. I saw some videos, or not videos, pictures of like people from like the early 1900s dressed up in traditional Dutch shit, and
Yeah,
it
I've
looks
seen
like
that.
a fucking cartoon. Like the buttons are like this big, and there's two of them on each thing.
And they're all wearing clogs.
I know, and it's like, how the fuck? Why do you need buttons that big? That's not going to more secure your shit. You just can't find them, so you need to have them the size of dinner plates.
What do you think of when you think of like the Netherlands, besides tulips, windmills, and the red light district?
I think of giants.
Yeah.
Anyone get that reference? I think of giants.
Giants. No.
Anyone get that? Nope. Don Quixote.
Oh, I didn't know that was Dutch.
It's not, but I think it's Spanish. But he saw
Windmills.
like you think of windmills in Holland. He saw windmills as giants.
Yeah, you're stretching again, but it's okay. We still love you.
It's a deep dive. It's a deep reference. So
Jesus.
it's on the B side. Someone will, it's a deep cut. Someone will figure it out. Someone's laughing their ass off right now.
Yeah, probably.
So let's talk about the news.
The news.
So I am going to touch a little bit on the new German manufacturers that are coming into F1. Does anyone have any of the news they want to talk about first?
I got nothing. I did zero research or put little effort into this week. Sorry, fellas.
Jake news. Okay.
So Audi has officially made their announcement. They are entering Formula One. They're taking over the Sauber team. So that's kind of fun.
Okay. Yeah, that was a question I actually had, but I knew we were going to cover it. Was I thought, was Audi coming in as a 11th team or coming in taking over for another? So that answers my question.
So we already kind of knew that they were going to be going after Alfa Romeo and Sauber because that team. So Alfa Romeo only came into Formula One for brand recognition, and they were planning on not being in Formula One for a very long time. They kind of overstayed their welcome in a certain manner of speaking, as in they weren't planning on being in F1 this long, but they were. They have other motorsports that they're more interested in doing, so they were going to phase out, but now it's just a hard goodbye because they're going to go do other shit and make their money. They've already made more money. They've already overdone their investment. Their ROI is really good here. So they're cashing out while they are ahead, and they're going to fuck off to a different motorsport.
When are they fucking off? In the end of the 25 season?
I think so. I gotta recheck my end of 2022. So I think next year we'll see.
Yeah, Audi comes in next year, I saw.
Next year.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was like further down the line.
No.
They got the new card, like all regulations and all that should happen in 2026. But yeah, I guess somehow Audi like fast track their jump in. They're coming in next year.
And I can't remember.
Really cool to see those cars.
I can't remember the details. I don't think they're making their own motor off the bat.
I thought they were going to be a manufacturer.
They are.
I think it's 26.
26. I think they might keep the
Ferrari.
Yeah, the Ferrari contract. They might. Now I could be wrong, and they could make another announcement. But when I was doing my research, I don't remember reading anything about the motor except for in 2026 they're coming out with their own motor.
Okay.
So
yeah, I knew they were eventually going to be coming in or whatever as a constructor. I didn't know when.
I mean, they might be making the motor immediately because
that'd be asking a lot though, unless they've been planning this for years.
Here's the thing.
I bet that they're going to use the Alpha power plant or whoever's supplying power plants to them.
That's Ferrari.
I bet. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to start making their own engine until 2026.
Well, here's the thing. Audi has already announced that within 3 years they will see their first victory. And if 2020 so 2023 is the season that they're going to be racing in the first time, right? The first 3 years of them racing, the last year will be 2026, and that's when they're going to develop their engine. I don't know. I think they might be doing something. And here's another reason why I think this is because they have already been developing their car and doing engine builds and tests in their Audi development area. So they're going to take over the Sauber one, but they've been building their car in their Audi test thing. And Audi is very good at building race cars. They built ones that dominated Group E Rally. They dominate Le Mans 24 and GP1 races and all that shit in P1 races. They know how to build a winning race car. And
F1 is a different monster.
That's true, but their facility is so advanced, it was already spec'd out to be an F1 building qualification before they joined F1.
Jesus.
All right, well,
and they're fucking Germans, okay? If anyone's gonna figure it out immediately, it's gonna be those crazy bastards that have rules and regulations for taking a piss. We love our German listeners if there are any out there. But you guys have
Plus, Mercedes was a German team, and they dominated for a long time.
Yeah, they took over
8 years constructors champions in a row.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And one of the guys that's going to be high up in the Audi team, it was high up in the BMW F1 team. So he's got some F1 coaching experience and shit like that.
So does that mean next year Bottas and Guan Yu got to re-sign contracts, or are they good with what? I mean, how long are their contracts they're on now? Are they?
I think it depends. I can't see Audi saying "fuck you" to both drivers because that would just be silly. Bottas is a seasoned vet,
and a winning driver. I mean,
he's a winning driver. Yeah, he's won a lot of races, so that's good to have on any team, especially if they're new. Zhao is a young talent. I mean, he had already gotten a lot of points in Formula One on his rookie year, which is really hard to do. For like Mick Schumacher, who comes from, Schumacher blood, did not get points on his rookie year. So
yeah.
Zhao also brings a shitload of money to the table.
He does. Yeah, he does. To be fair, though, Mick, his rookie season was a season that Haas was deliberately not striving for excellence.
Yeah, you're right.
So
100% correct.
He might have got points last year if they were trying harder.
Yeah, he could have. So yeah, that's and they beat their sister team that's under the VW umbrella, Porsche, and announcing their entrance into Formula One. So
what does that mean for Porsche and Andretti?
So what it means for Andretti is that the last thing he has is we talked about, and this was a conspiracy theory corner, or I think we were calling it conspiracy continent because alliteration, but I'm not sure. We said that because of stuff that was happening at Alpine and Fernando leaving and all that shit, could have been because Alpine might be pulling out of F1. And if that happens, that would be one for Andretti to go after. Or Andretti is not interested in taking over a team. They want to be their own thing coming in as the 11th team. Or the third Andretti was in line just behind Audi.
See, 3 oars are never good because you always end up rowing in circles.
Yeah,
sure.
I think, I bet their best bet is going to be taking
unless one of the oars is steering.
That's true.
Because they want, all the teams really didn't want to have another team in there to split up prize money. Whereas, if Alpine's going to exit, but that entity is up for sale, then they're, I don't see there being any issue with him, with Andretti buying his way in, and then
also
eventually folding her.
I don't get how if another team joins in, up the prize money, so no one's missing out on another team coming in. Does that make sense? I mean, why don't they do that? There's enough money.
Let's just print money off our money tree.
Oh, Jesus Christ. There's enough money flowing through F1. They could do that. No problem.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know
the
why
thing
they
is
don't-
money
yeah.
is money is like crack. Once it's super addicting, and once you have it, you only want more of it. So
Mhm.
we're talking the prize pool is divvied up between 10 teams right now. And if you divvy up the prize pool amongst 11 teams, then everyone gets less money.
Right.
Not
Even
not
if you
up
raise
the prize pool.
Sure, but if you up the prize pool, then they're gonna want to shoot out the last team member without having the prize pool lowered out.
All right. How
Yeah,
about
or
this?
it's
They
gonna-
come in
the cost,
and the 11th team doesn't get any of the prize pool.
but then
Or
Haas
gets
will
such
then
a
leave
small
F1.
Or just take the prize pool away completely.
Well,
Yeah, then everyone will
Eh,
win.
yeah,
Formula
then,
One will
then
win.
there will be no F1.
No F1. So, but again, like Alpine leaving, that is
Gesundheit.
complete and utter conspiracy theory speculation, and there's nothing to.
did you just
Um,
ninja that fucking gnat
Yeah,
or
it's
fly?
dead. Mhm, it's in my hand.
Nice.
Um. So
Sorry, everyone. I had to interrupt with that. It was so impressive.
It's on my shorts now. It's kind of gross.
Gross.
Well, I had to get it off. So, yeah, that's just all complete speculation and all that, and there's nothing to say that that's actually going to happen. But that is a thing that could happen, apparently.
All right,
Porsche
well, we'll
is
see.
only coming in as a motor developer, whereas
So
Audi
they're-
is doing motor and a chassis.
Oh, that's right. Porsche's already announced they're teaming up with Red Bull, right?
yeah.
Didn't they buy like the majority or something like that, or just under like 49% of Red Bull?
No,
own now?
I found out they are buying 50%.
Jesus.
Yeah, I
wow.
thought I thought it was
That's like controlling stake in the company, ain't it?
Is it? It's partnership in the company. No one's got that 0.1% over the other,
Okay.
and they're
But it's
they're
in the
not buying the
contract of, like-
whole company. It is the motorsport F1 division.
That's it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that's cool. You'll see the Porsche fucking coat of arms on the head of the Red Bulls. What, come in 2026?
Yeah. So they have not made their official announcement. The speculation, because they are only going to be a motor developer, is yes, it will be 2026.
Again, plenty of time to develop that new engine to those specs.
Yeah, and they're doing away with the MGKH, and it's going to be more of an electric motor in
Yeah.
the 2026, more sustainable and all that.
It's gonna be
I-
less-
Will we start seeing Porsche stuff on Red Bull in the coming
Oh,
years
yeah, for
before
sure.
2026?
Maybe it depends on the contract and what that purchasing power really does for them and what Porsche want to do. I'm assuming, but I think that
Figure they want to get
given
their name out there as soon as possible.
yeah, they probably will. But I mean, yeah, like you said, I think the coat of arms and just the Porsche on the side, like we saw in those mock-ups,
Yeah.
would just look fucking dope as
But
fuck,
just
so.
right on the front of
Yeah.
that fucking Red Bull would look dope with that Porsche
Mhm.
fucking emblem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho.
yeah.
Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen with that? We're still waiting on the Porsche thing, but yeah, Audi is a for sure thing. They are going to be
Yeah,
an F1
that's-
team.
That's
taking over
something cool to
Sauber.
look forward to next year to see a new car on the grid.
Yep.
New, well, maybe new drivers, but a new team. It'll be interesting. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to
I'm
look forward to
excited
for sure.
see more engine manufacturers in the mix too, and not
Mhm.
just Ferrari and Mercedes and
Renault.
like Renault power
Yeah.
units. See more variety, so that'd be cool.
Is that really
Yeah.
that's all that's on the grid right now, or
Mhm.
Ferrari, Mercedes,
so.
and
Ferrari,
Renault?
Mercedes, and Renault. Renault does their own. Ferrari does Haas. Ferrari and Alfa Romeo, and Mercedes does Merc,
McLaren.
McLaren.
No.
Oh, I guess Honda.
Mc-
Honda's on there too because they do Red
No,
Bulls
Honda's
over there.
not even. They pulled out,
Mm.
but like the brain trust is still with Red Bull. So the Red Bull
mean, they-
cars.
It's still pretty much a Honda engine in there.
I think
It's
it's
still
a
pretty much on.
at the core it is a Honda motor until they get their Porsche motors. So I guess there's
Yeah.
4.
And
All
then I
right.
think,
What does McLaren have? They got a Mercedes engine, or
Yeah,
are they
Mercs.
rocking?
Yeah.
Okay.
and then I think it's AlphaTauri has the same engines that Red Bull does.
So that's so weird to me that like these teams have that are competing against other teams are selling those same teams' engines. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
it almost
was a big.
is that a conflict of interest, or I mean, what's going on here?
I mean, Christian Horner brought that up a lot when he was getting shitty motors from Renault, and Renault was still doing pretty good with the same motor. And he goes, "Are we just getting the fucking test motors? Or are we getting
Yeah.
like brand new motors? Are these like used ones that have been refurbished? You know, like how do you be a team in F1 that's doing shitty and supply motors to your competitors and they're doing really well?"
Right. It's just it just seems like a conflict of interest, and everyone should. I mean, I know they got to develop their own car. I mean, engine's asking a lot, but I mean, if you want to be an F1, I mean, that's
Well,
God,
but I mean, it kind of makes
it's
sense for
weird.
some of
It's
the
just
feeder teams. You know, like if you have a minor league team, you want them to
Yeah.
do well. You know,
well, it's also
you
the
know,
same thing. Like it's to have the minor leagues in the same league.
Right.
It's a weird setup.
We're
So
playing
it's
with
something
cork
it's
bats,
gonna
and the
take me a
minors gotta play
long
with
time
lead
to
bats.
get used
Yeah.
to. Yeah. So anyway, so Zandvoort.
Yeah, we'll move on now. So we're done, kind of done with the news. So that's just a big thing out. He's coming in. We're gonna move on now to, because we have what three races in a row. This is
I
fucking
think
crazy.
so, yeah. We got with Spa, Zandvoort, and then we move on to
Italy, I think.
Is it Monza?
Monza, I think, is the next one. I'll
Is it
check
Monza
here.
or Imola?
No,
Well, we've
Imola. We
done
already did
Imola.
Imola.
Yeah, we already
So
did
it
Imola.
would be Monza.
Yeah.
Imola was a super wet race that Lewis Hamilton got stuck behind a fucking
Oh, that's right. That's
DRS
right.
train for every race. And that was one of
yeah.
the first race. I think it was like second or third race on the calendar, and that was like the first big one that Science had an off on. Just
Oh,
fucking,
that's right. Yeah, it was right
and-
after he re-signed his contract too.
Yeah, and
yeah.
it immediately
And
went off. Yeah.
Leclerc hit that huge fucking orange sausage on the side of the
yeah.
goddamn road and lost the race
I
because of
forgot
it.
about that.
Oh yeah, he had an easy victory if he just stayed on the track.
If he just stayed on the fucking track, and he had hit that track and ramped off during practice. But you know, if you want to learn more of that, go back to episode whatever the fuck and listen to our Italian GP thing. I think Dave even put the Italian national anthem as like our opening music or whatever. So pressure's on for the next race there, Dave.
And to find it, it's the only episode that I don't think has a number. It's just an Italian phrase for let's race or let's go, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So, moving on to Zandvoort. If you are new to F1, you've not heard about this. If you're a casual F1 watcher, you might not have heard about this either, because this is an old school track. And we raced on it once last year for the COVID season, and we are racing it again. And it's interesting and new because there are banked turns, and you usually do not find that on any F1 racetrack.
There used to be, didn't Monza used to have a bank turn on it?
Yeah, like way back in the fucking day, but
like it was a wood banked turn. Like
no longer do you have the banked turn, because cars, when they go off, tend to ramp, and so they don't want
and
those.
get airborne. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think they redid the banked turn for F1 to come there.
Yeah, something like
it was
that.
like part of it or something.
But it was funny. So last year when they raced on this track for the first time, which I think it was last year, they raced on the track for the first time.
Yeah. Because I remember practice was interesting to watch.
Yeah, with the bank, there was only 2 drivers, I think, and I think it was a Raikkonen and Alonso, and they were the only drivers that had ever raced on banked tracks. And it was like way back when they were like fucking babies, like 18, 19 years old. So they were like the
back in the 30s, 40s.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you're up there too, man. So
hey, fuck off.
Watch your step there. Yeah, so it is the track was first built, the first rendition of it was built in 52, but they didn't start racing on it until like the 70s, I believe. It's a shorter track. It's just over 4 kilometers long. Total number of laps is going to be 72. So compare that to the 44 we had at Spa. It's probably about a little over half distance of Spa.
Yeah, Nick's my last comment. I was thinking we were talking about Spa, so that's why I said big track.
Oh. Yeah, and fastest lap record, set last year. No surprise because the cars are a lot faster than they ever have been. That was Lewis Hamilton at 1:11, almost on the nose. So
Yeah.
1:11. Wow.
Yeah, 1:11. So it's gonna be a pretty quick track. There is a real fucky area between turns 11 and 12. So beside the pit straight, which is one of the longest DRS zones in the Formula One calendar, the second one starts at around turn 10 and then goes all the way to turn 11, right in between sectors 2 and 3. So you have the sweeping curvy DRS zone like you do at Albert Park in Australia, and then it's a hard right-hander, almost a 90-degree right-hander, and then a banked left-hander that goes onto a straight, and that fucks people up. We saw people spin out there a lot during practice and shit, so that's going to be a good place to check out.
It was cool to see how they all kind of got their shit together, and during the race, I don't think there was a lot of issues on that banked turn.
I think there was one or two spin outs, but yeah, there wasn't like anything like super duper crazy.
Yeah, I don't think there was big like red flags or anything.
No, there wasn't. I don't think there was any red flags.
Yeah. But it was funny during practice and qualifying. I just remember seeing so many offs, people fucking spinning out and trying to figure out how to handle a banking turn.
So
it's like a big sweeping right-hander, ain't it? On that.
Yeah. Well, there's a big sweeping right-hander that's turn 14. And it's crazy because the DRS zone starts between 11 and 14, 13 and 14, and wraps around that turn and then shoots all the way down the pit straight, all the way down to just like, I think that they're going to hit the brakes before they end the DRS zone.
See, I thought the DRS zone, I thought you told me this DRS zone ended when they hit the brakes. So
their flap closes when they hit the brakes. But usually it's after the DRS zone ends, if you will. But given where this one ends, I think they're going to be hitting. They're not going to be using the full DRS zone, if that makes sense. Okay. They're going to be using like 98% of it, but they're going to have to brake for that first
hard right hit.
Yeah. And it is a clockwise circuit, 14 turns total. And there are, like I said, 2 DRS zones, and one of them is extremely long.
There's going to be a lot of whatever.
Lots of people trying to keep up with Red Bull.
Shut up. God. You and your Red Bull.
I think Max. So here's the
thing. You're not drinking one right now.
Right. Max, I think it's going. So I don't want to get into my predictions too much, but I think Max is going to fuck this one up because the pressure of losing at your home circuit and having your dad like burn you alive is going to ruin you. So I sent you guys a picture of the racetrack so you can see that second DRS zone. That's pretty much it's probably the same length as Sector 3 if it was rearranged on the track.
Yeah, oh yeah. Damn. It goes all the way around the bend like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it starts between 13 and 14, which is the very top of that picture. It goes all the way down to turn 1.
And the detection zone's right after 12 there?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's so weird to have one on like a sweeping turn. Oh, well, that's the banking turn, ain't it?
Yeah, there are no straight DRS zones on this track.
Well, that first one, I mean, that's nothing major.
No, it's about the same.
If you're hugging the wall,
yeah.
I don't know. That's not really a wall though. This is a racetrack. So
yeah, it's a racetrack. It's a proper racetrack. Banked turns and all.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, you guys want to get into predictions or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's start with Tyler.
Sure. Well, obvious. I think that again, you'll see Mercedes or Red Bull doing very well. Max, I think, is going to take the victory on home court, and I say that he'll have not Carlos sign Sergio Perez right behind him, and then maybe George Russell on the podium. I'm thinking seems to be kind of on fire as the predictions that I'm going with. And then wild card prediction. I don't know, big pile up somewhere. So lots of DNFs.
Big pile up somewhere. That's a pretty broad wild card, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm saying, I mean, multiple cars out first lap, something like that.
Oh, something major on the first lap, huh?
Yeah, maybe we're missing a Red Bull and a Ferrari from the end of the race or something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, shots
All right,
fired.
Dave, let's hear what you got.
I'm going with.
All right. Well, okay. So I'm thinking Max is definitely I don't feel like he feels that home court pressure like some guys do. I think he's gonna do just fine.
Yeah, no way.
Perez, he had a horrible start in Spa, and I don't like to see it, but I think he's just not doing Sergio Perez right now. So I don't see him hitting the podium. I see another Ferrari on the podium, and I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be Sainz, considering they keep fucking Leclerc on strategy and other sorts of things. Wild card. Oh, wait, let's give a full podium. Third place guy on the podium. I think Russell. I think he's going to land himself on the podium this time. Wild card. Bottas gets a little birthday redemption and finishes, let's say, somewhere up in the top 7 or so. He's going to get some better points than Alfa Romeo's used to get.
No points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going Team Valtteri for this next race on my wild card.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and be as subjective as I can because I think it's important. Although I am a huge Ferrari fan and wish them all the best. So I agree with Dave. I don't think that Max Verstappen is gonna feel any of that home court. I mean, he's gonna get the advantage. He's not gonna fold even with his father staring at him with his new wife from the sidelines and Max's new little sister.
Yeah.
So I think that he's going to do pretty well. I think they'll probably come out and dominate the weekend and all that. Ferrari will be up there and they'll be a powerful force in the practices and all that stuff because Leclerc's got a weird talent for doing shit in weird situation. Like this banked turn shit is completely off the rails. None of the younger drivers know about it, but Leclerc usually can get his head around that kind of shit pretty easily. So I think he's going to be using his racecraft really good. Watch for the feint from him through the first DRS zone, maybe going a little weak wristed on that so he gets the detection zone between 11 and 13 and then starts using that to pass people around the big end and the main straight. I think he's going to be able to use that pretty well to his advantage. Can that get him a win? Maybe not, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the podium, second or third. Perez is going to be right up there too, and I think Sainz is going to follow suit. I think Mercedes will probably finish fourth, fifth, if I'm honest. Maybe Hamilton above else, but Russell's been really consistent, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him on top. Wild card is that. Ooh, what's a good wild card?
Something wild.
Wild card is. There's a red flag. Vettel gets the advantage and takes home the W.
Oh, that would be a good one. I would love to see that.
Vettel's the first person to get in the pits. He's the first one to get out. It's toward the end of the race, and they can't get by him because it's wet or something silly like that. But there's a red flag. Vettel gets the advantage, and he takes home the dub.
Yeah, he'll get
That's a wild card I would love to see.
Yeah, me too. He'll get team orders, and it's like, let my son pass. Let my son pass.
You can't tell me what to do, fake dad. I'm not gonna be around any longer.
I would love to hear, with all due respect, fuck you. It just keeps going.
Or just ignore him, and then you just see him on the podium celebrating.
That would be good.
Don't
worry, son. I'll buy you a new teammate.
You know what? Like I don't. I don't think I have ever had this thought, but it would be kind of fun to see an all British podium. I think that's the only podium we can see. I think the no other country has 3 drivers on the grid right now.
No, your
No.
best hope would be 3 Spanish-speaking drivers.
Right. Ocon being one of those.
No, it'd be Carlos Sainz, Sergio
Alonso.
Perez, and Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, I know. That was a joke.
Oh,
Because Ocon also speaks Spanish.
that's right. He knows a bunch of it.
Well, you got to. You live in Europe. Those are
Everyone-
states, distances
Yes.
that speaking different language. It's like going to Illinois and they speak a different language.
Although I think that like they're probably. I'm not a linguist. I don't fucking know any of this shit, but I'm pretty sure that Spain Spanish and Mexican Spanish are similar.
They have
They're
different dialects,
different
kind of thing going.
different accents.
Yeah, but
I
they
mean,
still
fuck,
talk
even
to each other.
Italians are like a super thick accent. Spanish. What's thank you in Italian? Grazie. What's
Grazie.
thank you in Spanish?
Gracias.
Gracias.
Boom. Same fucking thing.
You put more olive oil on it and you got grazie.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing is they're testing the viscosity of the olive oil.
Well, olive oil and Parmesan cheese and you got grazie.
And
Yeah,
wine.
Oh shit.
The
Oh, you know what I
ash
noticed?
from
We
Mount
did not get
Vesuvius.
to questions again. Your
No, we
mom's
didn't.
gonna have to wait another week to hear
Yeah.
questions.
We'll get to you
answered.
next week, Mom.
I don't mean to make it awkward, but did you, Tyler, miss my Vesuvius joke I just said?
I did.
God damn it.
I'll
It's
make
like
sure to let's see if I
there's-
can.
The ash from Vesuvius. They're getting it off their
Oh.
fingers.
Years later, it's still everywhere.
It's still everywhere. I can't get it off. Not
It's
as
good for
funny
the
as
skin though. Anyway.
Anywho,
All right. Well,
all right.
so this has been the Tire Preference Podcast. I'm Jake, that's Tyler, and that's Dave, and we just we love talking about Formula One. We're glad you were able to join us this time. So please make sure to like and subscribe on whatever the fuck you're listening to this on, and tell your friends about us. Get us some more subscribers. We're doing this purely for fun, but we would like to see this blow up because that's more fun. So whether you tell people or not, we're still going to be talking. So might as well tell people. And with that, I'm going to pass over to Tyler. He's going to give out his social medias that you can try and follow him on. But if he's anything like me, you're not going to be able to follow him because I don't accept strangers. I just realized that. Like, if some rando like tries to follow me, I'm like, fuck you, dude. I don't know you. And then I think like, oh fuck, I've been putting my social medias out there
possible
for a couple
listener.
of months now. Yeah, he's probably a listener.
Now they're like, oh
He's
fuck
on
this
his
guy.
ass. Yeah, leaving him on wait.
You can find me at t.k.66 on Instagram. And that's it. That's the only
No,
social
you didn't
media
pause
really-
there. That was good.
I know. I was on it.
Dave, where the fuck can we find you?
Yeah, you can always find me at on the Instagrams. That's the only really place I'm at, and that's maximum_Dave. And then also featuring next Friday. Those are the 2 places you can find me.
Yeah, featuring next Friday.
Yeah. Next
Yeah.
Friday.
Go
We're
check that out
upgrading.
because there's a big announcement coming on that page.
Once
Yeah.
now it got pushed back another couple days. So instead of going Saturday to pick her up, I gotta go Monday to pick her up.
All right, but don't tell no one because
Yeah.
if you want to know what they're getting, you gotta check out that Instagram page. So you can find me at _red_Kennedy 45 on Instagram, the Red Kennedy on Twitter. You can find the podcast at the Preference Pod on Twitter, and you can find us on YouTube, of course, because that's how you're watching us. So thank you so much for listening. Like I said,
you,
tell
everyone.
your friends about us, shout us out. Maybe we'll
Yes, please.
Yep.
Everyone, tell a friend, and then they'll tell a friend, and then they'll tell a friend.
word
It's
of mouth.
wonderful. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and we will come back to you guys next week with the Zavendroot,
Review.
Zandroot. I want to do Zavandroot, and I don't
I think
know why.
it's Zandvoort.
I always call it
Zandvoort.
Zandvoort, but I don't know what it's spelt weird. There's 2 O's in a row.
Yeah, Vroot. I don't know. Anyway, we'll come back to you guys with the breakdown of that and any new stuff. So make sure you tune in next week. And with that, keep within track limits.
say hit the gas, ignore the braking points, and crash into people that used to be your teammates.
Well, ignore Tyler, and every once in a while hit those breaking points. Otherwise, you're gonna smash into a wall or smash into old teammates.
Yeah, and that can lead to a head injury. So then you'll be in a wheelchair, and you'll be like the first Superman. We don't want that.
The Christopher Reeves joke at the very end. He snuck it in.
Avoid horses.
Yeah, they're way too big.
They're way too violent. They took out Superman. It's the only thing on Earth that's been able to kill Superman. Or put him in a part where he can't laser people with his eyes.
Oh no,
Horses.
They murdered him.
Yeah, kryptonite means horse on Krypton. So.
And on that note, I love you guys.
Later, fuckers. Later.